Welcome back. I'm Phil, that's Samantha.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are Bars and Barbells.
And today we're going into a brand new video that just came out about the F-47, Boeing's $20 billion comeback.
$20 billion?
Yeah, so I don't know if they mean comeback because I feel like there's been a lot of news stories about Boeing's aircrafts not holding up in terms of airplanes.
Yeah, I think it's been taking a beating lately.
Yeah, I think some of that is, it's hard to capture because if you look at it through the lens of, how much is it just being reported now? So then you're actually quantifying it by you visually seeing it on the news or whatever on social media more, and maybe statistically it's not as bad as it seems, or maybe in fact it is statistically really prominent at the moment and they need to make a comeback and invest in things. And
$20 billion comeback.
Clearly this is a big investment. F-47 here. No idea what to expect. I obviously assume that we got an aircraft that they're going to be discussing, and I'm going to imagine it's military based if we've got an F-47 name. But I don't know, Sam. I'm going to assume you don't have any insights to offer on the F-47.
I do not know.
So we should probably get into it and find out.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll.
It was the aviation showdown of the decade. A high-stakes duel between two aerospace titans fighting
Lockheed
fiercely
Martin.
for the future of American air dominance. Just months ago, the entire NGAD program teetered on the brink of cancellation, overshadowed by the stealthy B-21 Raider and an increasing focus on unmanned drones. Questions swirled. Was the age of manned fighter jets coming to an abrupt end? Would the NGAD be scrapped in favor of a new strategy? But today, after relentless speculation and heated debate, the verdict is finally in. Boeing has triumphantly secured the monumental $20 billion contract to build the F-47,
Dun, dun, dun.
also known as the Next Generation Air Dominance or NGAD fighter.
Okay.
This program breathes new life into America's commitment to manned combat aircraft. And this victory doesn't just mark Boeing's resurgence. It might very well reshape the trajectory of aerial warfare itself. If you follow my channel, you know we've closely tracked the NGAD's journey, a futuristic 6th generation fighter that's been cloaked in secrecy. This thing is more classified than Area 51 itself, and it's designed explicitly to surpass even the legendary F-22 Raptor. But Boeing's path to victory wasn't easy. Plagued by recent setbacks, Boeing desperately needed this win. Now, against all odds, they've earned a chance to reclaim their legacy.
There's a lot of hype here.
Questions remain. Could this truly be Boeing's turning point after years of struggle? How many of these cutting-edge F-47 fighters will actually soar into production?
And how much will it cost?
And intriguingly, is the 47 designation just coincidental or a deliberate nod to the current president? Buckle up, aviation fans, because the stakes have never been higher, and this is a story you won't want to miss. PilotPhotog.com. We've just seen a glimpse of the NGAD, or what we believe is the NGAD, and it appears to have a white-coated skin, similar to what we've seen in the B-21 Raider. The last time there was a Boeing prototype with a lighter skin, well, that didn't go so well. Hopefully this time is different. Now, since we don't know exactly what the NGAD looks like yet, I'll be using a few 3D models that are a best guess on what we know so far. It's better than looking at a still image for 20 minutes, right? Alright, before we get into the details of the NGAD, let's talk about what this means for Boeing. Winning any defense...
Why is it black if they're saying it's white?
I don't know.
Okay.
It could have probably done a little bit better with the 3D imaging there.
That's why I'm like, you literally just completely contradict this.
Did you get what they were saying about the 47 name?
No, what's that about?
Donald Trump's the 47th president.
True.
So that might be a nod.
I was going to say
him.
he sure isn't 47 years old, so
No,
that makes sense though.
They call him 47. I guess they were calling him 45, 47 now.
Yeah.
Anyways, I guess what that would be potentially because he may have been the one that gave them the contract for it. right? I don't know. You guys can elaborate down low in the
Yeah.
comments.
Okay.
Defense contract is monumental. It can secure a company's future and ensure stability for employees for decades. And the F-47 NGAD contract is certainly no exception. With an initial value of $20 billion, the full life cycle of the NGAD is expected to push that figure significantly higher, making this one of the most valuable and prestigious military aviation contracts ever awarded. And let's be honest, for Boeing, this contract could not have come at a more critical moment. The company has faced significant turbulence in recent years, from the highly publicized issues surrounding the 737 MAX to considerable financial losses and ongoing production challenges. These setbacks have quite frankly shaken confidence in Boeing's once sterling reputation. And while it may seem easy to forget, Boeing's capability and resilience shouldn't be underestimated, especially given their strategic merger with McDonnell Douglas back in 1997. Although not without growing pains and issues, this merger ultimately brought extensive defense sector expertise into Boeing, including experience from legendary combat-proven aircraft such as the F-15 Eagle and FA-18 Super Hornet. Now, these platforms not only demonstrate Boeing's long-standing innovation in military aviation, but they also reinforce another reason why Boeing was uniquely positioned to secure the NGAD contract. More on that in a minute. Now, I get it. The skeptics among you might argue that Boeing was chosen merely to spread out defense contracts evenly among the major aerospace players.
That's what I was
Lockheed
thinking.
Martin, Northrop Grumman, and of course, Boeing. However, this perspective overlooks Boeing's genuine strengths, extensive, as we've already mentioned, defense portfolio, and proven capability in developing versatile and technologically advanced aircraft. More than just a simple balancing act, awarding Boeing the NGAD contract reflects the Air Force's confidence in Boeing's ability to deliver cutting-edge innovation, cost-effective solutions, and unmatched versatility that's going to be needed for future air dominance. And here's the other thing you may not know about. The Boeing NGAD prototype has been rumored to have been flying now for 5 years, if not longer. In fact, some believe that Boeing's mysterious X-37 has been used as an advanced testbed for the NGAD to evaluate materials or avionics that will ultimately be used in the F-47. At the end of the day, Boeing's win with the NGAD...
It's interesting that they just mentioned that it's been flying because... I was thinking to myself, like, these things almost resemble a UFO.
Yeah.
And we've seen so many, news articles, videos, whatever, about UFOs that are out there now.
Yeah,
and,
like suspicious aircraft.
And aliens are here. And I don't believe that to be the case. I think, as most people would agree, that military technology is usually far advanced than what we know it's capable of doing. So they might have different, propulsion systems or whatever out there that, are making things fly in ways that we've never seen. And that's what people are seeing, in the sky, but they just don't know it. And also, so far, this has been a promotional video for Boeing. Now, I know the video is called Boeing's $20 billion comeback, so clearly we're a fan of Boeing here.
Yeah.
But so far, it's been less about the F-47 and more about Boeing, I would say. I think, the thing about it, when it comes to military defense contracts, they had made mention about Lockheed Martin and, the way contracts get spread out. A lot of that is manufacturing capabilities, right? I mean, they've, got the production lines and the capabilities from the technological standpoint to invest, research and development and continue down the path of production and manufacturing. So that allows them to continue to get these contracts. It's just, there's not many other companies out there that are going to have that infrastructure, right? I am curious, though, if SpaceX is going to venture into this, field, because they just focus on space-based travel, I think, at the moment. They're technically classified as a military contractor,
yeah,
but they don't produce any, warfare weapons that I'm aware of, but obviously it's very lucrative, so.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it could be tempting to want to get a piece of that pie.
Although I guess, if we're talking Elon and SpaceX, he's already got a piece of quite a few pies, so
that's fair.
you may not need to get any fatter from that regard.
Yeah.
But,
I also just find it interesting because they've made multiple mentions in this about how like the information on this is so limited and like is sealed up tight. But then, so it's kind of like, okay, so what, all this is based on speculation, and like if they're so tight on the information, like like they don't even really have a real image of what this thing actually looks like, right? It's all like models. It's like, well, how do you really know?
How do you really know what?
Like anything about it? Like it's all speculation now.
Yeah, that's what we're watching.
Well, even talking about the, like he said, the contract, right? Like, oh, you like it, well, one would argue that it was just to spread out contract fairness, but that's not the case because of X, Y, Z. But it's like, well, if the information is all tight sealed, like how can you even make an argument? Like, how do you know?
Well, I think that's the point, right? Is that you need to speculate because you don't, with military and spending in general, you have no idea what they're doing, right? So you have to try to investigate and research and gather as much information as possible to come to an educated conclusion that may not be entirely factual, but it'll at least give you insights as to what the expectation might be. Anyways, let's get back to it.
And used as an advanced testbed for the NGAD to evaluate materials or avionics that will ultimately be used in the F-47. At the end of the day, Boeing's win with the NGAD isn't merely a lifeline, it's a powerful statement. This victory represents not just a recovery, but a potential turning point that could place Boeing firmly back at the forefront of military aviation while significantly reshaping its trajectory in the aerospace industry. Now let's take a look at the F-47 itself. The F-47 NGAD isn't just another fighter jet. It's actually the centerpiece of a revolution in aerial combat. Remember, the whole point of the NGAD is to be a system of systems. The F-47 is just the center point of that whole warfighting ecosystem. Designed from the ground up to replace the legendary F-22 Raptor, the F-47 is built specifically to meet the challenges of today's battlefield. What does that mean? Well, while the Raptor was envisioned during the Cold War and was tailored for relatively short-range combat over Europe, the F-47 is basically designed with one mission in mind: dominating the vast expanses of the Pacific Theater, where distances can be measured in thousands of miles, not hundreds.
Wow.
So it travels fast.
One of the most game-changing aspects of the F-47 is its perhaps unique ability to fly both manned and unmanned missions. Just like its stealthy cousin, the B-21 Raider, the F-47 can seamlessly shift between having a pilot in the cockpit or operating autonomously. This built-in flexibility will dramatically lower the risks that pilots can face in dangerous combat situations, while still enabling the option to have human pilots fly or take the controls when the mission demands it. Now, getting back to that system of systems, the F-47 doesn't fight alone. Instead, it serves as the central hub, the quarterback, of an entire fleet of collaborative combat aircraft, or CCAs. These advanced drone wingmen significantly expand the fighter's reach and capabilities. These large drones can carry out high-risk tasks like electronic warfare, recon, and even precision attacks, all while the F-47 oversees operations from a safer distance. This isn't just about technology, it's about rewriting the rules of aerial warfare. Now let's face it, over the past few years, we've seen what drones can do. And for the most part, those were small, off-the-shelf drones adapted to fight. Imagine what fighter-sized drones designed for combat can do. Then imagine dozens of them being controlled by a single F-47. Can you see where this is going? A single F-47 in a drone swarm could ruin an enemy air force's day. Another critical advantage of the F-47 is its long-range capability.
So I guess, like we talked about, the information related to that is limited, but I'm kind of disappointed that we weren't able to elaborate more on how that takes place. Like, where do these drones come from? Are they situated within the F-47 and it drops them out and they go, or if they're launched together, or if this is controlled from, like they said, the F-47 is controlling it, but is this controlled, like allowing the because if you're going to switch between autopilot and not, so you go into autopilot and just control the drones from there, and then you can switch back into the, controlled piloting to use your weaponry or whatever. I would have preferred a little more depth onto, why they would potentially use that. Again, obviously we have to just speculate to a degree, but I could see why it would be powerful. I would just like to have known a little bit more as to what the thought process is behind the drone usage associated with the F-47.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool that like you can be in your main aircraft, kind of like the manager of the squad, and send them all off to do their thing,
Yeah.
and not really have to get involved unless you need to. But
Yeah.
like you said, minimal details there of the how and the why and all of that.
Yeah.
Another critical advantage of the F-47 is its long-range capability. Engineered specifically to patrol the massive distances across the Pacific, the aircraft's extended range reduces the constant need for aerial refueling. This means missions last longer, response times are faster, and America's strategic advantage over potential adversaries is preserved.
It's efficient.
Even in regions where friendly bases are few and far between. So, what's in a name? Or in this case, a number? The selection of F-47 for Boeing's groundbreaking NGAD fighter has, of course, many aviation enthusiasts buzzing with speculation. Most intriguingly, the 47 could be interpreted as a subtle nod to our current president, Trump, who, as you know, is the 45th and, more importantly, the 47th president of the United States. This draws a direct parallel between major military projects and presidential legacies. Now, this is a tradition that actually has precedent in the military. For example, usually aircraft carriers are named after former presidents, such as the CV-71, aka the USS Theodore Roosevelt.
Mm-hmm.
However, as of the making of this video, there's been no official confirmation of this symbolic link, leading, of course, to alternative theories. And we know the internet likes its theories. Some people speculate that the Air Force simply continued sequential numbering following the F-35 Lightning with a higher number designation to emphasize its generational leap.
Seems more likely.
Another theory suggests that the 47 might reference a significant internal milestone within Boeing or even the Air Force, such as 2047, the target date for full operational deployment.
2047.
Now, even that's got sort of a precedent. The B-52, of course,
long
flew in
time from now.
1952, and that was one of the reasons it received that designation. So the whole name it after a year thing is not unheard of.
No.
Regardless, whatever the true inspiration behind the number, it undeniably adds to the mysterious and intrigue surrounding America's newest fighter, which is already making the F-47 name both memorable and historic. Now again, this isn't just another advanced fighter. The F-47 NGAD is a dramatic shift, one that aligns directly with the evolving threats that are facing the US military today. In fact, the most direct parallel you could make is China's J-36, which flew recently. I've done a whole video on that airplane. You can check that out after this one. Link in the description below. Indeed, the F-47 marks Boeing's return to the forefront of air combat innovation and reaffirms America's commitment to air dominance for decades to come. Remember, over at Boeing, the F-18 Super Hornet production is finally winding down, and while the F-15EX or Eagle II is ramping up, the acquisition of the F-47 contract basically puts Boeing in the front of military aviation manufacturing again.
Don't screw it up.
Now, make no mistake, the F-47 isn't just here to join the fight, it's here to change the game entirely. And we're only beginning to understand what the F-47 can do. Ultimately, Boeing's groundbreaking victory with the F-47 doesn't just benefit one company, it reshapes the entire American aerospace industry. In fact, with Boeing now leading the NGAD fighter project, Lockheed Martin producing the proven and ever-upgradable F-35 Lightning, and Northrop Grumman handling both the stealthy B-21 Raider and the Navy's next-generation fighter, the F/A-XX, each of America's aerospace giants now hold critical major defense programs. Along with each major company having at least one massive project, these moves could start to shift manufacturing jobs back to the United States and its closest allies. And remember, competition is always a good thing. This healthy distribution of projects across multiple companies basically creates an intensely, fiercely competitive environment, which is exactly what the industry needs to stay sharp.
Valid.
Remember, healthy competition drives innovation. This ensures that each manufacturer pushes technological boundaries to deliver superior performance, efficiency, and capability. Moreover, spreading vital contracts among several companies mitigates the risk of over-depending on a single vendor. It promotes more robust supply chains, and if COVID taught us anything, it's the importance of supply chains, and also supports thousands of high-quality American jobs across multiple regions. In essence, Boeing's NGAD win sets the stage for decades of dynamic innovation, robust job creation, and unmatched technological advancement, further solidifying America's status as the global leader in aerospace and military aviation. In the end, Boeing's dramatic victory in the NGAD competition marks much more than just another defensive contract. For Boeing, it signals a resurgence for a company eager to reclaim its legendary status.
All right. Well, I'm going to pause it there because it just seems like we're going to go on another minute of hyping up Boeing and the F-47 without many details. And so with that said, I got to say I'm a little bit disappointed with this video. It wasn't as informative as I wanted it to be. And, I can go and research Boeing anytime I want to. So I was hoping, like I said, what the $20 billion was going to pay for and what the F-47 was potentially going to do, and didn't get that. But, you never know what to expect when we're doing our videos, right? Can't do a first-time reaction by seeing the video firsthand or beforehand, right?
Yeah. Can we also just discuss the prediction of it being 2047, the year that this thing's fully functional?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean,
especially if they've already been working on it for 5 years.
Yeah, no, there's no way. Like, why would you invest? By the time 2047 comes around, that technology is going to be outdated anyways, right? So
yeah, I was like, that seems a little bit far-fetched to me. But
yeah, I mean, maybe they're thinking like, oh, it's going to be used in a war in 2047. Let's hope not. But I think that it's probably just, like I said, we're sequential numbering. And anyways, we don't need to drag this on any further. Anything you want to add before we go, Sam?
I mean, I think it was cool to get like an idea and like a visual of what this thing could look like and some of the capabilities of what is going to be coming in the future, especially since they had said, I think, that there wasn't like, this is basically a sequential jump pretty far in advance from what the model or what they'd be using below this, right? So I think when we do have more details, it's probably going to be pretty cool, but
hopefully not in 2047.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys can give us more insights down below in the comment section as well. And maybe you have more details. This was a pretty recent video, I believe. So maybe, like I said, there's just none out there, and people are hyped up about this new potential project. And, sometimes that just drives some content, is the hype out there. So let us know down below. Make sure you hit the like button. Give us a recommendation for other content that we should do, because we do struggle to find the military base stuff. It's not readily available on my feed in general or Sam's feed. So, we don't know where to look. So let us know what the good stuff is. Something a little bit better than this. I'm just going to say that.
More detail orientated, preferably.
I'm not trying to hate on the video too much. Like I said, I just was looking forward to it coming into it, and I was just a little bit let down, I guess. Anyways, have a great day, guys. We'll see you on our next video.
Thanks for watching.